Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our planets through Nakshatra series of the week. And this week we're going to be covering Saturn in a Nakshatra of Purva Phalguni. And what happens when Saturn is in a Nakshatra of Purva Phalguni in your horoscope, which occurs in the sign of Leo, I believe from 1640 to I think 27 something degrees or 26 degrees of, not 26. It has to be 27. So anyway, 27, 28, something like that. So anyway, if you do not know if you have the Saturn, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all your other astrological details. For that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, Aspects, and Mahadashas of the Speed of Light, including all my consultations at this link. So, Saturn in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. See, Purva Phalguni Nakshatra is a nakshatra with the ruling by the deity Bhaga. This is the deity of procreation. This is the deity of creative self-expression, enjoying life, luxury, taking time off, and diving into sexual escapades of life. This is a nakshatra that represents the mythology of how Brahma wanted to procreate with its daughter. Okay? So a lot of unusual, weird things can come out from this nakshatra. This nakshatra obviously represents creative self-expression. And one thing I've always noticed with this nakshatra, I don't know if you guys have noticed and you can comment, but I have seen florists in this nakshatra. I don't know how, but florists versus any other nakshatra, if somebody was in a business of flower shop florists, they had this nakshatra Purva Phalguni. Probably because it's ruled by Venus. Venus represents fair, fragrance, nice, luxurious things. And flowers are more for those celebrative, occasions like anniversaries and Valentine's Day and birthdays and whatnot. So that's something I've seen. But now you're putting Saturn into this nakshatra. Saturn represents discipline, duty, commitment, sacrifices, organization, structure. It's the practical reality of life. It's where you work hard. Saturn is our work ethics. Saturn is our karma, our actions. So one thing you will notice is that whenever we put Saturn in this nakshatra, it kind of becomes like a dual branch for Purva Phalguni. On one end, you will have this person. So let's say if I was a studio executive and I wanted to hire producers or let's say production assistant. I had one with Venus in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. I had one with Saturn in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. I particularly will hire somebody with Saturn in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra versus Venus. Why? Venus is in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra will be like, okay, is the stage ready for me to come on? Are the lights ready, stage ready for me to come out and give my performance? Oh, it is ready? All right, perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Where Saturn is the one who builds the stage. So if you told Venus in Purva Phalguni, Venus, you can stand on the stage, but you're going to have to build that stage. Put up the lights, put up all the decorations and the props in the back. You're like, no, oh my God, this sucks. Where Saturn will be like, yes, please just give me the work to do here. I don't really care for the fame. I don't care for the limelight. Let me just build a stage. I'm good at that. So I'm going to be hiring that person with Purva Phalguni Nakshatra because Saturn becomes, as far as the work ethics are concerned, becomes very creative towards finishing a task. So if I gave a creative project to somebody with Saturn in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, I know whether it takes them 12 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours, they will finish that job. Where if I gave it to somebody with Venus, they'll be looking for, okay, oh my God, where's the break time? Where's lunch? Okay, when do I leave here? Completely different energies. Foundation is creative, fine, but one wants to work towards it. One wants to stand upon it. Now, and also one thing you gotta understand, Saturn represents your servants, social workers. Saturn also is a significant of beggars. So if you have somebody with Saturn, or if you have the Saturn, in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, and if you have a servant, okay, one thing you will notice that yes, that servant will have a very peculiar sexual life. They'll be very hardworking, very creative, but they will be quite, peculiar, very, very unorthodox in their sexual life. But you got to understand Saturn, like I told you, there's a two branch here. Saturn will suppress the sexual part because Saturn's job is not to procreate. Saturn's not here to deal with semen and create something. Saturn will suppress that part. So when Saturn comes in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra for a person, they may have children late in life. They may have children in their late 20s, early 30s, because Saturn dries things out. It's a very airy planet, Saturn. So it's going to dry out the semen here. But when we are judging Saturn as a Karkavastha, what it represents, then we can say, okay, everything related to Purva Phalguni Nakshatra will be endowed in the servants that come in your life. Because now we're not looking at your work ethics. We're looking at the individual itself. Now, if Saturn is your ascendant lord or your Atma Karka, planet with the highest degree, then we can say, okay, your Saturn in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra is actually quite promiscuous when it comes to sexual energy and seeking pleasures and enjoying life. But even then, Saturn in Purva Phalguni will suppress those parts. But right now, I'm not looking at you. I'm judging the Karka that comes in your life with Saturn. What is the Karka that's coming in your life? What is the significance that comes in your life? It's your people who are working under you as your servants. So if you have servants, you can judge their life with this Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. But if not, then you have to take this partial analysis that, well, Saturn is like this and Saturn is going to do this. Because remember, Saturn is a very airy planet. It's in this very heated sign of Sun. Saturn does not like to be in the sign of house of the Sun. Saturn resents it. So regardless of which nakshatra is setting in this, it's going to resent some part of that nakshatra. Now, obviously, it's ruled by its friend Venus. But Saturn is just not going to feel comfortable. The only good thing that comes out with this nakshatra, because Saturn actually has its exalted padha in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. Its third padha is in Purva Phalguni degree, because there's 4 padhas to each nakshatra that are working behind the scenes of a zodiac sign. So when Saturn moves to, I believe, the third padha, Saturn will be exalted, where it shows that over time, when you get older, you will fully embrace the Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, where you'll be like, you know what? I built this stage. I got the lights. You know what? I think I'm ready for my limelight now. I do want to enjoy some of the fame now. I've done a lot of hard work. Like for these people, if let's say I told somebody with Venus in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra versus Saturn in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra to go out and get a 3-hour lunch today. You guys get a 3-hour lunch. The one who has Saturn will not really enjoy that long lunch. They'll be like, oh my God, I'm skipping work. I gotta work. So they might come back an hour and a half. So if their regular lunch was a 1 hour, today was a 3-hour lunch, they might come back an hour and a half or 2. They will just not feel comfortable. Venus would be, on the other hand, might be coming after 3 hours and 20 minutes. They're like, oh yeah, today's a great day. All right, let's enjoy. Because symbolism of this nakshatra is a bed and a fireplace. A place of relaxation, pleasure, comfort. But also Purva Phalguni's bed is also the bed of where you kind of like give advice to people. Just like the Uttara Phalguni is the main one. Purva Phalguni is more like they're enjoying life, but also they're kind of advising. So it's not just all about sexual bed. It's about letting go of your stress, letting go of all the troubles in life. This is why Purva Phalguni Nakshatra becomes a nakshatra where one should go on vacation. But if you go when Saturn is transiting the Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, one is going to be doing a work vacation. You'll work during your vacation. Or if you have this prominently, like I was saying as the ascendant lord or as the Atma Karka, you're the person who on vacation works. Now, like I was saying, there's some weird stuff attached to this, because remember, the symbolism is related to Brahma trying to procreate with its daughter. In very rare circumstances, depending upon, what society you're in, there could be issues with incest, with this. And you can't say, oh no, I have this, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not saying you are going to do it. But those things happen in this world. You can't say that it's not happening in this world. It is happening in this world. Somewhere in the world, there's incest happening. Those are the 6th world countries, 5th world countries. Okay? But you have to understand, when there are certain combinations and yogas and a lot of malefic influence upon this nakshatra, it can do that. I'm not saying you're going to do it. I'm not saying that this will happen. I mean, this is just simply saying that there's going to be the symbolism of this Brahma and him procreating with Parvati is something that is seen. Somewhere, somehow in the world, symbolism coming out. Or, on the other hand, what this shows is that you may do business with your daughter. You may do business with your daughter and create something new. Now, you see how you have to really be careful about the mythology, about these older stories about this nakshatra. This doesn't mean that a father and daughter is going to come to procreate a child. No, of course, that's nasty. I'm talking about father-daughter can create a business. So this can show not you, but your servant, people working under you. Remember, the Karkavastha, they may have a business with their daughter. So they created some product together like, Dad, why don't you go into business with me? So you are kind of like taking the story of Brahma and putting that into a new context. So that's what it means. Okay? So guys, this was my analysis of Saturn in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. Again, if you don't know where your Saturn is placed, all my books, reports, consultations, for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.